Kristen, the Classy Cripple. Hope everyone is doing well today and having a good day. It's Friday. Yay. So I'm coming to you today because I haven't checked in for a little while, and I wanted to share with you obviously some thoughts like normal. And the next couple of videos I'm going to do are going to get a lot more specific in some of the real issues that you're going to face with life with chronic pain and chronic illness. So hopefully you're ready for some real talk. I've kept things really light and general with my videos so far, but it's time to really push past the superficial and talk about the things that are really going on in our lives, so you can relate to what I'm going through. I can relate to what you're going through, and you can know that you're not alone. We're not alone. We're all together in this. So here we go. The first thing I'm going to talk about today is this video. I'm going to talk a little bit about intimacy. Yes, we're going to talk about a little bit of maybe a taboo subject. So if this is something you're not really wanting to talk about, then I would say this may not be the video for you. But I really do want to get into it because it's a reality in our lives. And when you have psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis, chronic pain, chronic illness, things like intimacy with you and your partner, your spouse, your love life, these things become an issue. And how to navigate through them can be a little bit tricky. So I'll talk to you a little bit about what my experience has been, and hopefully that will give you some comfort and perspective, and knowing that if you're going through the same struggles, you are not alone. And maybe we can come up with creative solutions like we do with everything else in life when we have this kind of funky set of cards dealt to us. So I will share with you, I have been married this year. I was married 12 years to my husband. He is an absolutely amazing man, deeply, deeply supportive of me in every aspect of my life. He is the true yin to my yang. He is everything that I'm not, and he keeps things in perspective for me when I'm struggling. But when we were very first early on dating, so we've been together for 14 years, married for 12. I know it's crazy, right? But it's true. I'm so happy about that. But when we very first met each other, I had pretty severe psoriasis, pretty severe plaque psoriasis, and I would say about 60% covered on my body. That's a lot. If you have plaque psoriasis right now, or you're going through a flare, it is very, very difficult to feel beautiful, to feel sexy, or to feel glamorous when you have these skin lesions all over your body. They're not contagious, but they don't make you feel pretty. You're itchy, they crack open and they bleed. Your skin is constantly like flaking off, and it looks like you have dandruff all the time. Like there were, little scaly pieces of skin residue everywhere for me when I was at my most covered. But the point of this is that it's really, really hard to feel beautiful and to feel sexy and pretty when you're covered from head to toe in psoriasis. But for me, this is where your partner should listen to this, and you need to talk to them about this, because I used to say to my husband, how do you look at me and see any type of beauty in me? I just don't see it at all. I was like, I just look awful, just covered in these scales. And he always said to me, he's like, I don't see those at all. He's like, I just see you. And it was special, and I remember it always, because it didn't matter at what point, I was covered, or how bad my psoriasis was, or how under control it was. He saw me. He saw the beauty in me past that. So you need to be able to communicate with your spouse or with your partner about what's going on with your skin and with your body, and that sometimes we do need a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of reassurance from our partner that they do think that we're beautiful, no matter what's going on with our skin. That's a big thing. The second tier to that is plaque psoriasis, when it's really bad, is extremely uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable, because depending on how you move and twist, or your skin moves with you. So when you're moving, those patches of psoriasis are resistant to moving. They are painful. They crack open and they bleed. So when you're going to have those kind of intimate moments with your spouse, and they go to reach for a certain part of your body, or you're trying to maneuver into a different position, things can crack open and bleed and become painful very, very quickly. That's the truth. Like, that's just what happens. And that can kind of put a damper on the moment. So what I'm going to say to you guys is this: if you have plaque psoriasis, communicate with your partner. Communicate with your spouse. Communicate with your lover. Communicate, 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 because things aren't going to change, get better, or be any different, or be as enjoyable for you or for them if you don't. If you guys do not have an open point of discussion about what's comfortable for you physically, have the talk. We'll segue into the psoriatic arthritis aspect of it. So right now, my plaque psoriasis is under control. Thumbs up, that's always nice. But my psoriatic arthritis is very challenging. So you don't think that these are the things your doctor doesn't tell you. They don't have this whole conversation with you when you're first diagnosed with psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis. So that's why I'm having it with you now. That how you are physically intimate with your partner when your psoriatic arthritis is really bad is very different than what you're going to be used to. That kind of spontaneous, passionate throwdown may not be in the cards that day or that hour or that month or that year, whatever. And what I'm going to say to that is this: my body doesn't move the same as it used to at all, and things that could and had in the past brought me a lot of pleasure no longer do. And there's no way for your partner to know that unless you communicate about it. This is a point of discussion that you are absolutely going to have with your significant other, because there is no reason, that you should walk away or, step away from an intimate time with someone who you love and feel such a tremendous amount of pain when it can be avoided by making a few, minor adjustments. Get creative, folks. That is my big message here. Get creative. There are things that can work for you. There are things that, my husband and I have found that work for us together, that are a good fit for us. And those are things you are going to have to find on your own. I certainly, if you want to private message me, I can talk to you a little bit more in-depthly about that. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't have the discussion, and if you two are not working together, this is not going to be successful. Someone is going to end up resenting somebody else, and they are also going to, somebody's going to walk away with their feelings hurt. If you think it hasn't happened before with my husband and I, it absolutely has. And really, that was because I wasn't, communicating well what I needed, and adjustments that I needed to be made for me to have an enjoyable experience with him. So that's my lesson here today. Communicate with your partner when it comes to intimacy, because this chronic pain and chronic illness is just a continual challenge. It is an uphill journey, and you have to learn to adapt along the way. I talked about surviving in my last video and how I think that we are just champs at it. This is another point in which many people are not having this discussion, but intimacy is going to be like a long-term thing for you. This is going to be a lifelong thing that you're going to be developing. So what I'm going to say is this: take the position of the day book and throw it out the window. It's not for you anymore. No, or at least it's not for me. No one is twisting me and putting me in some contortionist-like positions for a good time. I know, kind of silly, but it's true. Look at your life reasonably. Think about what it means for you to have an enjoyable experience, because I promise you, when you're comfortable and you're having a good time, so will your partner. And then what's going to happen? Long term, you guys are going to have so much more success. I really think that that's what has allowed my husband and I to continue to be successful when it comes to intimacy. It's having a real open discussion at all times about, how I'm feeling, how he's feeling, and coming up with creative ways to meet both of our needs. So that's what I've got for you. I hope you guys have a good one. Next talk, like I said, we're going to keep digging deeper into some more real things that come up, because this is what I think as a group of people we've got to be sharing and we've got to be talking about in an honest way. So keep living creative, guys. Have a great weekend. And if you and your partner, your spouse, have not talked about intimacy, and if it's something that you are struggling with right now, have the discussion. I promise you it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. Do it for yourself, do it for your relationship, and do it for the long-term health and success of your journey together with that individual. All right? I'll talk to you later. Bye.